if you're getting the deal or if they're working in creatively financing, you can't beat them up on everything.
Tammy, what's the number one secret to, the realtor, the business giving tree?
So we've been buying, my husband and I, we've bought and sold property over the years, as many people have. And the reason I aimed it really toward realtors is I found that I work with realtors a lot. I have a team of 20. They all want to own some real estate, or if they have some, they want to own more. But as with anyone, it's always like, how can I afford to buy that? So obviously this doesn't just apply to realtors. This is anyone who, whether you own some, a little, or a lot, if you would like to own more, which is almost everyone, then this applies to you. So I started out my talk at Build talking to agents because we know the market is shifting, no doubt about it. Prices are coming down, things are slowing down, but I'm an eternal optimist and I always believe there's a silver lining to everything. So I can't change the fact that the market is slowing, but I can say, well, there's going to be some upsides to that. So let's go through what some of those are. And one of the big ones is if prices come down a bit, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to purchase some real estate, not just to help your buyers, right? So I want agents to start thinking of the positive. How can sellers are going to not sell necessarily in one day with 47 offers. So they're going to start being more open to some of the creative purchase things that I'm about to talk to you about. It's really hard to get some of these creative things done when they're getting 47 offers all above ask and they can just walk away, right? Clean hands, cash in the bank. But the fact that it's harder is going to make some of them go, hey, I do need to sell and I need to listen to your creative idea. So I'm really here to talk mainly about those creative ideas. But I do want to say up front, I didn't get to say this in the talk because I didn't have enough time. There's always a way to buy real estate. So my husband, Wes, and I bought 2 amazing properties in 2021, which was the height of the frenzy, right? So even when times are amazing, you absolutely can. So what we bought last year, they were off market. So we found a seller who had talked in the past that he would be willing to sell his properties. So I just reached back out. I'm like, hey, how are you feeling about that? Are you still wanting to do it? And I got those properties at significantly less than I think he could have gotten on the open market, which always makes you feel kind of weird about it. But I'm like, number one, he's a very sophisticated investor with significant resources, very significant, who has a financial advisor who kind of makes all of his decisions on what he's going to do. And he didn't want to be listed publicly. I don't know what the big deal is. I don't know why, but people are different. For some people, they're private and they don't want people knowing their business. And no matter what was said, he did not ever want to be live. He didn't want to be public. So I said, okay. So we were able to buy a $1,025,000 property, which was 3 short-term rental units with room to add a 4th, which was great. I mean, yeah, I think it's worth a few $100,000 more than that. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's what I think is worth. He didn't want to list it, and that's the price he was happy with. Now, it was always important to him. He always wanted to know what he would walk away with. That's always his big factor. So what I told him is, it's kind of funny. At first, I told my daughter, who's on my team, who's pretty sharp cookie, I said, I'm going to tell him that, no realtor fees. And she said, don't say that. That denigrates our profession, which I kind of like. She goes, say you will cover the realtor fees. It just sounds better, right? You will cover all the closing costs. He won't have to pay any of them. You will pay them. So even though I'm paying them to myself, obviously, right? So I guarantee you, this is what you'll walk out with. I will pay all closing costs. You will walk out with $1,025,000, right? And I tried to get it for a little less just to see. And he came back and he and his advisor said, no, we want $1,025,000 at that price. And he also was really sick of the STR regulations. And for him, he goes, I'm not sleeping at night. I'm so mad about it. It's just ruining my life. I don't need that money. And it's making me angry all the time. I just want to offload these.
Wow.
So I was able to buy that one. And then I bought another one from him for $595. That was a price he'd come up with a year or two earlier. That was 2 units in the commercial, very central business district, excellent properties. And same deal. I said, you will walk out with $595. I'll make sure of that. I'll cover everything else. No inspection. So I tell people, you can't get everything your way, right? And people just don't get this. So they'll get what's a great deal on the property, and then they still want to inspect it, ask for repairs and all that garbage. If you're getting the deal, or if they're working in creatively financing, you can't beat them up on everything. So he knows because he's dealt with this. I said, there'll be no inspection. There will be no outs, no contingencies. If we shake hands on this, we're buying it. I started thinking, I'm 55 years old. I have never in my life backed out of a contract I wrote.
Excellent. So Tammy, I want to encapsulate that. By the way, I'm going to get some more context too for our listeners. Yeah. So the number one secret to the realtor giving tree, or even just the business or making deal giver tree, is to be creative and realize there's a silver lining to everything that we're going into, right? These change in the environment, these change in these interest rates, these change in pricing and what's happening here. And by the way, give you some more context too. So you remember that book called The Giving Tree? I want you to picture that book. You probably read to your kids. And it's the tree that the kid at a young age just keeps going back to, right? And at first, and he just, he swings on it, he plays with it, and he spends time with it, and it provides shade and does all these different things. And he gets older in his life. He comes back and asks the tree for more things, and the tree just keeps giving to him. And he eventually cuts it down. He uses it, I think, to build a house and to maybe do a boat ride and all kinds of cool things. And the idea of this analogy is now the marketplace, although it's shifting, but look for ways that it can have a silver lining that you can take advantage of and opportunities. Is that a fair summary, Tammy, on the giving tree?
Kind of.